Super Bowl week is here. We're back. We were sick last week, but we are back, and we are excited to talk about things. We've got crazy things going on in the NBA. Luka is going to LA. We got other NBA news, and we've got a big game coming up next week. So we'll see what's going on. We will talk about that and more next on Good Sports. Thanks for joining us. I'm Randy Goode, and as always, please hit that subscribe button. It means a big deal. It really is something that we appreciate, and it helps us get our content out. We're glad that we are back. We were off last week, but we are excited. Super Bowl week. I know we're going to be talking about that coming up here in a second. And Trent, how you feeling? Are you excited about the week?
What would I be excited for, Randy?
I think you might be excited about revenge. Revenge might be here.
You know, honestly, it is a dish that's best served cold.
Oh man, I said that last year and it didn't work out for me. So I hope seconds are better than first. So anyway, we'll be talking about that in a second. But first, we have one of the craziest, biggest trades in the NBA that I can actually remember. I mean, we're talking, this is up there. I mean, Kareem, when he came to LA, was big. When Shaq went to Miami, that was big. There's been a few trades. More often, big things happen where a player ends up leaving. But something in the middle of nowhere that nobody knows about, before the man is in the prime of his career at 25, Luka is going to LA. I cannot believe what Dallas was thinking. They are getting a great player. AD is a great player. Best defensive player maybe in the league, if not at least the best post-defensive player. He has 25 and 12. He's no scrub, as Stephen A. will tell you. He's a great player. But the Lakers got a franchise-saving player. They were a year or two away from being irrelevant and for a long time. And they got Luka, Mr. 30-plus, 10 and 10 in the playoffs, to join the Lakers for a guy in AD who has had a career of long missed games due to injury. And yes, the last 365 days, he's played more games. Good for him. The Lakers were smart. They traded him when he was at his highest value. And the Lakers are going to be relevant now for the next 5 or 10 years. I am stunned by this trade. And then they threw in a first-round pick that, like, it means something. In 2029, it'll be a no-name player, most likely, the 25th pick in the draft that usually doesn't make it or is a role player.
2029. They're not even going to get to use this pick.
No.
For another 4 years.
No, LeBron will be a grandpa by the time that pick happens.
LeBron's going to have grandkids by the time that pick goes
Oh, my gosh. Now, this doesn't mean that I would say the Lakers aren't going to make the finals.
Wait a second. How wild would this be? Isn't that about the time that LeBron's next son is going to be in the NBA?
His grandson will be in the...
How old's his other son? His other son's...
I don't know.
I think his other son's a freshman in high school.
Yeah, well, he'll probably go right to the pros, too, and, you know... We can talk about Bronny another time, who should not be on the Lakers. He is not an NBA player. I'm sorry. It was a great little scene the first time he came on, but that's a story for another time.
Bryce is 17 years old.
Well,
that literally times out perfect. Hold on, let's see here.
Bring him to LA.
2020. No, he'll go to the Mavs. The Mavs are going to take him. Use their first-round pick on Bryce.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Let's see here. So 2026, he'd be 18. 2027, he'd be 19 in college. Yeah, no, that works out perfect. He could be coming out of the draft.
So you're saying LeBron's going to go to the Mavs too?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, that would be the question.
Go to the G League.
That would be the question that I have: is should the Lakers trade LeBron? Because I look at them and I say LeBron is a player that demands the ball. He dribbles the ball up the floor, and he either shoots it or he makes the dish for the shot. Luka brings the ball up the floor, dribbles, and he either shoots it or distributes the ball. They're both ball-centric players. I don't see how they're going to work at all. I mean, they're good enough to win a bunch of games, but but they have no defense on the team, and they have no centers or posts at all. I'm just excited for the future, not necessarily for this year. But do you think the Lakers would actually consider trading LeBron James?
Absolutely not. He's worth too much money, Randy.
I know.
Listen, first of all, let me say this.
Sells jerseys.
Let me say this. The one thing that Luka's game is missing is the one thing that LeBron's always been great at. And a lot of people call him the greatest passer of all time. And Luka could really use getting to know LeBron and seeing how he passes the ball.
Well, yeah, but Luka, though, gets like 8, 9 in the playoffs. He's getting 8, 10 assists a game.
He averages 7.8.
Yeah, that's phenomenal when you're also getting 10 rebounds. I mean, his stats are better than LeBron's at lately in the playoffs. In the playoffs, just a little bit more of each of those stats, but they're mirror images of each other.
I'm just saying, how much? This guy could learn.
It will help him.
This guy could learn a ton from LeBron.
I think the biggest question that I have is, will LeBron make a difference on the conditioning of Luka? Because that's Luka's got two flaws: defense, and he's not in shape. So and LeBron has the one thing I want to give credit to him. He does a great job of taking care of himself.
Oh, yeah.
So do you think that'll make a difference for a Luka?
Yeah, I don't know. AD didn't really improve over the years that he was there. He stayed getting injured.
Yeah.
But to be fair, that could just be a body type thing.
Yeah.
There's a possibility. I could see it.
I hope that happens. I think you're right. I don't think the Lakers will trade. The Lakers are not known as a franchise to trade away stars.
Yeah.
They don't do it.
Yeah, I don't see them trading. Yeah. I don't see them trading away LeBron anytime soon. They'll probably let him play out the rest of his career there. He's not got much longer.
Oh.
This is the thing is we've talked about this in the past where the NBA is missing that star talent that people hold on to. Luka could definitely fill that position.
Yeah.
And they, this is a good opportunity for Luka to be able to be somewhere where he could be more than famous.
Yeah.
And he could also learn from someone who's been more than famous.
Yeah.
And right now we're in the midst of losing some of our stars, the Kevin Durant's, the LeBron James, the Steph Curry's.
Yeah.
And this could be a really good opportunity for Luka to step into one of those roles.
I think this is. What do you think the impact of the NBA? They've been so down. Their ratings have been so low. I think this is going to give a shot.
I'll tell you, I'm going to at least watch the next 3 games just to watch.
Yeah.
When do you think he'll play his first game?
Well, he's been injured, and so he's been out. So he'll be back soon. They say soon, so I don't know exactly when he'll be back. This is just exciting. So for somebody that's been a lifelong Laker fan since 1979, when Irving Magic Johnson was a rookie, I've been excited, and when LeBron came, my excitement faded. That's just the truth. Okay, Luka coming back, I am so stoked right now because when LeBron retires in a year or two, and AD's been a broken down player, except for the last year, he's been a broken down, great but broken down player. We were going to be terrible,
yeah,
and for a while,
absolutely.
And Luka coming to town. Now you have box office.
You paid nothing for him.
I don't understand it.
2029?
Why? What was
and
Dallas?
Max Christie? Who cares?
I know.
Who cares?
We didn't give up 2 of our the best 2 young players either.
Yeah.
We gave up. I don't even understand. I want to ask you, what do you think Dallas was thinking?
Well, let's go over the full trade details. Okay, so the Lakers are getting Luka. They're going to get Maxey, Kleber, and Markieff Morris, right?
Yep.
Mavericks are going to get Anthony Davis, Max Christie, 2029 first-round pick, and the Jazz are going to get Jalen Hood and a 2025 Clippers second and a 2025 Mavericks second. We don't really need to include the Jazz in here.
No.
The Jazz basically benefited for no reason.
No, they just helped the Lakers out.
Yeah.
Anybody that participated.
Yeah. Anyways, man, this is the thing is the GM for the Mavs feels strongly that this is the direction they want to go. And the only thing I can think is maybe they know something that we don't. And maybe Luka is more of a cancer to that locker room than he was worth. I don't see that, though, because Kyrie and him were pretty close. And it seemed like him and Kyrie got along really well. and Kyrie's not necessarily the easiest person to get along with.
No, but I think what it is I think Jason Kidd. I think I should say the Mavs wanted more defense, and Luka doesn't play it, and they needed some defense.
Yeah, but who cares? The guy drops 30 a night.
I think it's insane. All the Mavs had to do was say, "Hey, we're thinking of trading Luka. Who's in?" And
Everyone.
they would have everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody wants the best player, or the second best, or the third best, whichever one you want to say.
He's easily top 3 right now.
Easily.
And that's not even I don't even have to think about it.
So and a couple of the others, if you add up their age, they're in their prime. He's only 25.
Yeah.
He's not even he's right before his prime. It's insane what they're doing. And the Mavs, I think, they're gonna look back on this and they're gonna be criticized. Now this year, maybe AD and Kyrie can have a good little run, and that could be a good little one. I don't know what they're thinking, but I'm telling you, this was a stupid decision. If you want to trade him, tell everybody.
And it's interconference, which doesn't make any sense.
You would have 4 first-round picks. You'd have multiple early picks. You'd have like the first pick in the draft. I mean, you could trade this for great young talent. And you got an old Anthony Davis who is older than his age.
Yeah.
Because he's been hurt so much.
Yeah.
It's insane. I'm stoked. I can't believe the Mavs just saved the Lakers franchise for the next 10 years.
But yeah, what doesn't make any sense to me.
Saved them.
What doesn't make any sense to me is why was this trade not open to the public?
I don't know.
Because so many other teams would have paid so much more money.
Way more. Why would you do that? And why would you help the Lakers?
Yeah.
I don't like you don't take somebody that is like known, they're like the kings of your sport, and say, "Hey, we just want to help you out."
Yeah. I mean, okay, here's a crazy trade idea, right?
Okay.
I bet you the Celtics would have gave you oh gosh, I'm blanking his name.
Tatum?
No, the other one. Brown.
Jaylen Brown.
I bet you the Celtics would have gave you Jaylen Brown in exchange.
Yeah, and more.
he's a better player, still in his prime, plays great defense if that's what you really wanted.
They would have gave more than Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
I think you could have got multiple first-round picks and
you
Jaylen
probably could have got Porzingis back too in the trade.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, I can't believe the Lakers. I wish I could have been there when Rob Pelini hung up the phone. He had to have just been cracking up, laughing, crying.
Oh my gosh!
They're definitely got a lot of wine involved after that because they were the champagne was flowing. That's an insane trade.
I mean, go down to the casino and put 100 on black. Yeah. I mean, just you're not losing. You're not losing. You're obviously the most luckiest man in the world.
I was hoping the Lakers were going to trade Anthony Davis because he was playing well and he was finally helping, healthy. And I thought they might fleece somebody for somebody. If they would have got Jaylen Brown, I'd have been overjoyed. The Lakers.
Yeah.
I would have been like, sweet.
Yeah.
And we got Luka.
It just doesn't make any sense.
No, I'm so happy. And then you've got in other trades.
The only way it makes sense, which is why I keep on saying this, Randy, the only way it makes sense is if you truly feel like Luka is a cancer to your locker room.
But it still, to me, doesn't even make sense.
Nah, I mean, it does.
It makes sense to trade him.
He's so much of a cancer that you couldn't win a championship with him.
But wouldn't you put him on, the block?
That part still doesn't make sense.
I mean, the trade, yes.
Unless other teams know this, and the Lakers are like, yeah, but the fans don't.
No, I think there's somebody that's got a job coming to L.A. here pretty soon, and there was an under-the-table thing. Wow. You do this, and you're going to be my GM assistant.
Oh, my gosh.
That's
insane. Crazy.
New ownership in Dallas, and I think they just absolutely blew it.
Okay, well, LeBron wasn't the only person to get traded.
No. De'Aaron Fox,
yep.
Zach LaVine, that as of now they're finalizing things. That is also another big trade. Normally that'd be considered the biggest trade of the year, and that's a bigger one. It pales in comparison to this absolute unbelievable trade that just happened.
Yeah.
Who do you think that helps out more?
I like Zach LaVine, but he's just never gonna be the type of talent that's gonna get you to a conference championship. I really actually love this trade. I think De'Aaron Fox is actually he's still younger. He's a great player. and he produces well from the front court. So with Wembanyama on that team, I think this is a good fit.
And he's a good young. He came out. De'Aaron Fox, I think, came out in the same as Julius Randle in that group.
Correct.
Yep. And so that'll be a nice little. They got a nice little game that they can run. I mean, that's going to be a lot of speed and length and spreading the floor, and so that'll be fun to see how the Spurs do. And whatnot.
this is the trade. It's Spurs get De'Aaron Fox, Jordan McLaughlin, which that actually shouldn't be slept on. I think Jordan's actually a pretty decent player. Zach LaVine, Kings get Zach LaVine, City Sissoko, 3 first-round picks. They got 3, Randy.
That's pretty impressive. Well,
compared to
I'm so glad that trade happened after.
The Mavericks got, got 3. No. They're not done. They're not done. They got 3 first-round picks. 2025, 2027, 2031. And then they got 3 second-round picks. 2025, 2028, 2028. Can you believe it?
I can't.
They got 6 picks.
That just makes me even happier.
It's disgusting.
What happened when LA.
But the Bulls got Zach Collins, which I actually like Zach Collins.
Yeah.
And Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter. Huerter? I can't do that one. And their own 2025th pick via SAS. Wow. So, I mean, give me a break.
No.
This makes no sense. Hear me out. De'Aaron Fox is a great young player.
So did you say, is there a 2025 pick in there?
Yeah.
So the Spurs record right now, it's going to be a decent pick as of now. I mean, it's not necessarily bad.
It's not their pick.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's Chicago's.
Well, now.
No, it's Chicago's originally. It's going to the Kings.
Oh, it's going to the Kings.
Yeah.
Okay. The Kings will be getting a decent little pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's right now the Spurs are 12th. So I don't understand. I don't understand it. I don't know what people are thinking. But I am grateful for people like the Mavs who make decisions like this.
If you put these 2 trades on a table in front of somebody, and you saw this, you would think it's made up.
There's no way I would think Luka.
I mean, that's the reason. Like, hold up. Look at the reactions from NBA players across the league. Okay. Joel Embiid said, "Wow, there's no blank way." Okay. Let me give you another one. Tyrese Maxey said, "Huh?" ? Okay. De'Aaron Fox, who later gets traded, puts the mind blown emoji.
Yeah.
And this is my favorite one. Okay. CJ McCollum tweeted, "I can't tell what's real and fake anymore on these apps. Is Luka really going to the Lakers or not? ? And then he says, "Gotta pack them bags just in case nowadays. If the Don got traded, only Lord knows."
Oh, thank you, Dallas. You are my second favorite team right now.
This is my personal favorite. Malik Monk responded and said, "Hell nah." And then the almighty Patrick Mahomes, who's currently preparing for a Super Bowl, responded with, "Wait, what?" ? Listen, I'm just being honest. There's no way that I understand why people don't think this is even real.
No, it's crazy.
These 2 trades next to each other are just mind-blowing.
Yeah, no, that it is unbelievable. I'm astonished. I am excited. When you think of the big trades in the league, this does not happen.
Yeah.
You do not trade away stars like this.
Top 3.
And
uncontroversially.
And not in his prime. If you see these trades, typically they are at the waning years of their life. Not like Shaq. Shaq was just starting to go down when he went to Miami. He was still very productive his first couple years, his first year especially. And his second year, he definitely started tailing off. That's when they did win.
I mean, they won an NBA championship.
The second time.
Yeah.
But he wasn't 4 years before, but he was still there. Luka is still going this way.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So
I'm
have
stoked.
All these crazy trades, right?
Yeah.
And then I get a little notification from our old friend Jimmy Butler.
Oh.
Okay. And it says Jimmy Butler trade talks with the Warriors has ended.
Yes.
I'm like, why would it end? Jimmy said he didn't want to sign a contract extension. That's it. That's it.
With anybody?
He has a chance to go play with Steph Curry.
So do you think he's trying to stick it to Miami? And he's going to say, I'm going to leave and you're going to get nothing for me? Do you think it's gotten to that place?
I don't think so. I mean, the guy said he wants out. We're trying to get him out.
Yeah.
We were trying.
But is his bitterness like, I don't want you to even benefit off me?
Listen, he even said in the press conference, I'm open to playing anywhere other than Miami. Obviously, that's not the case. He said no. Oh, okay.
Send him to the Jazz. They got 11 wins.
Hear me out. Jimmy Butler. I've talked about my love for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Okay. Been a big Jimmy fan since he was with the Timberwolves. Then he comes to Miami, my basketball team. Okay. And I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. And we have 2 great Cinderella story runs. Okay. One in COVID and one after.
Yeah.
And he just becomes a thorn in the side for the Boston Celtics, which I know makes you happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. This is where I'm going crazy. If you're Jimmy and you hear one of the most prestigious organizations in the NBA, everyone would say the Warriors with Steve Kerr, Steph Curry, in a front office like no other.
Yeah.
If you heard, hey, they want you to come play for them,
Bags
and Miami's willing to do it.
Yeah.
I'm loading the bag up right now.
Absolutely. I'd take a pay cut to go there.
I don't even know if I have a chance to win a championship there, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because that's a great front office,
Way
a
better.
great head coach, and you get to play with one of the greatest players of all time.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense.
Somebody needs to get in his head and find out what's going on.
There's-
I'd love to know what people are thinking.
I actually would be concerned about this to the level where I would recommend for him to go see a specialist.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense.
He might be an emotional wreck. Do you think this is a front office or do you think it was Butler?
Oh, it's definitely Butler.
Yeah. So if it's Butler, you got to get in the head and find out what is he thinking.
Well, listen, we talked about this. To be fair to Jimmy, if you were at a job for 7 years,
Yeah.
and your job kept on saying, I know you're really overworked and tired, but we're going to get you help for 7 years,
Yeah.
you'd probably be pissed after 7 years.
Yeah.
What doesn't make sense is now your job's saying, we'll take you to another place where you're not overworked and you're going to get paid even on an extension, and for you to say, no, I don't want to go.
So one of the things that I think hurts some of these players and they get mad at their franchises, so everybody has a different way they do the cap. The NBA has a cap. Now, the NFL has a hard cap. You can't go over it.
Yeah.
The, MLB, they just pay whatever they want to pay, basically.
There's no cap.
Okay. Then you have in the middle, you have the NBA, which they have a cap, but you can't go over the cap if you're willing to spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
The Warriors spend a lot of money. They're over the last few years, they've been way over the cap.
Yep.
Okay. Now, here we are. We're trying to figure this out. And I wonder, because a lot of teams don't go over the cap.
Yeah.
But a few do. I wonder if these players are saying, if you really wanted to win, why are you not going over the cap? And I wonder if it puts them at odds with their owners because of what the Warriors have done. And and so, if you're Butler, you're like, no, don't give me the cap crap.
Yeah.
Because you can do it. You just don't want to pay 5-1. But I don't blame the owners for not wanting to pay $5 million for $1 million over the cap or more than that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it can create more tension and friction.
Correct. I think there's a lot of difficulties with the NBA in general. We could spend all night trying to break down what the issues are with just that in particular between the players and the coaches, because players don't act like this in the NFL.
No.
Franchises don't act like this in the NFL.
Yeah.
So it's just different, and there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
I do want to say one thing, okay, on the Lakers before we move on.
Okay.
Do you think there's any chance with the current trade that the Lakers could go contend for a title this year? I said any chance.
I think there'd have to be a lot of injuries.
A lot. I mean, listen.
The
Lakers played well against the not Utah.
New York last night.
Yeah, New York.
without AD. And they're what's interesting is they were 8 out of their last 10 games or something. I think they've won as they made this trade. And LeBron had no idea about the trade. Allegedly, he was at the restaurant and he was kind of blown away.
I actually kind of believe it.
Yeah,
because it sounds like Jason Kidd for the Mavericks didn't have any idea either.
I think this is so I don't think they have a chance. I don't think they have the you got to have some defense to win a championship and be there. They're not going to have any defense, and they have no posts. Now, they could make trades and do some things. I honestly think the style of the games of LeBron and Luka, they're good enough to be able to compete together, but they're both do the same thing. They both dominate the ball so much. I'm not saying they can't win games and do well together, but with LeBron, what everybody always says is if you want to complement LeBron, you got to have shooters. Now Luka can shoot, but he's not a spot up, stand there and just have other people throw him the ball. He can do that, but you're taking away some huge strengths. He can get to the hole. He, passes very well. Maybe they can figure out some creative ways, but this trade was not for this year for the Lakers. This was a Patan passing move that is going to set the franchise up. And I'm looking at the cap. Looks like Jimmy Butler's cap hit this year was $49 million. Bam was $35 million. Tyler Hero is $29 million. Rozier is $29 million. So, we'll see. We'll see how things go and the trades that happened and the trades that didn't happen. The NBA. We're talking NBA. We have not talked about the NBA.
Yeah, go NBA.
So I'm excited. Now all we need is those players that we've talked about actually play in the games that are on the schedule and play hard. And we might watch you consistently.
Maybe.
Okay, we'll see. So let's move on. I have a question that I've got to ask.
Okay.
This has just been burning.
Ask away.
This is a LeBron James question. Okay. And people might say they totally disagree with me, and I'm okay with that. But in the last 5 years, has LeBron James been more good for the NBA or bad for the NBA? I want you to think about that. Now, I know the easy take is, one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player of all time. He's been good, blah, 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 blah. I don't think he's been good for the NBA. I'm going to tell you why, okay? I think he's done some good things. He's obviously a very talented player. I know they did win in the bubble that nobody saw. Allegedly, they won the championship. Okay.
Oh, trust me, I watched.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Miami. But that was. I'm sorry. If there's ever an asterisk by a championship, there's an asterisk behind that. That favored AD and an injured AD and a somewhat aging LeBron James so much with all the time off they had. That favored an elder team so much. Anyway, but my problem, LeBron, when he came into the league, he set the world on fire. Athletic, awesome, great, fabulous. But man, when we had all the politics that got brought into it, he was the head of that. And I think he turned off so many people. Half of the NBA fans believe one way, and half the other. I think it was Michael Jordan that said Republicans buy shoes also. And so he let his play be the result of what happens. He didn't isolate himself. It's okay to have your convictions, and it is okay that LeBron has said and been public with his disdain for certain things. It's okay to do it, but there's a consequence with it. And I think the consequence is there's a lot of NBA fans that have left and have gone away. And when you change your pattern, you don't come back often. And I think he has done, yes, he's done really good things. For a segment of the fan base, they love it. But there's a huge segment that have lost and have left the NBA. And I think he is not the only. I think Greg Popovich is one of them. Steve Kerr is one of them. But King James is the key. And I think in the last 4 or 5 years, he's done more harm to the game than even the benefit. So that's my take. What are your thoughts? And I bet most people would disagree with me, but I think it follows the ratings, it follows the passion. I feel that way. I have felt some of those things. I know a lot of people have felt those similar things, and I know he's great, but I think he's isolated a lot of people. Do you agree, disagree, or is it let me think about that?
Let me say this. I think that the NBA went into a whole new wave of sports and fandom in the time that LeBron has been King James. And I think some of the things he's handled well, and some other things he has not.
Yeah.
And I guess to be fair to LeBron, on his end, there was a lot of weight of the NBA resting on his shoulders for a very long time. And there were some times that he handled it very well.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I think he probably looks back now and says, man, I handled that poorly. What I don't think is good for the NBA is I don't think it's good for politics to be a big part of the NBA. The NFL has done a really good job at keeping the politics out and just keeping the humanity in. And I think that's good. I think that's positive.
Who has done well?
The NFL.
Oh, the NFL's done a lot better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. At the beginning, they were rough and they lost fans, and they fixed it quick.
Yeah, and they've done. I think they've done a good job at removing the politics and adding humanity into it.
Yep.
And I think that's extremely positive for our country. Now on the NBA side, I think they probably handled it poorly in multiple ways. I think that a lot of fans who love the NBA love the toughness of the NBA. If you think about what players we really held on to in a high regard for the early 2000s was your Kobe Bryant's, very much a tough player. Your Shaq's. Shaq was very much a tough player. Charles Barkley, tough guy. I guess for me personally, when I look back at a lot of what's happened in the recent years, is the NBA's got a lot less tough. And I know that's just an easy word, maybe a buzzword to use, but I feel in my own personal convictions, the reason why I struggle to watch the NBA now is it just feels not tough. It feels like every play is a foul. And depending on who's driving the ball is depending on who gets the foul.
Yeah.
And then all they do is shoot threes. And it's like, okay, so anytime someone wants to play tough basketball, they're getting called fouls.
Yeah.
Anytime that they don't want to play tough basketball, they get rewarded by shooting threes. And it seems like we've lost a lot of that, just that style of play.
Yeah.
And I would say that a lot of people love football for the toughness, what it takes to do football. They've removed that from basketball, and I just feel like that's where their main struggle's at. And they got to be able to figure out where that's at. But back to LeBron, I think he's handled some things well and some things not so well. And to be fair to him, he's had a lot of weight on his shoulders for the last 10, 15 years.
Yep.
Actually, it's probably just since Kobe died, probably so the last 10.
Yeah.
Or Kobe retired.
I agree with you. I think that is a good point. He has had a lot of weight on him, and I think he's trying to be the leader because he is the leader. And I think he tried to be the leader through a situation, and I think he had a lot of pressure, like speak up, and I think he did with his conviction. And I do respect people following their convictions, but sometimes there can be a consequence to it. And I think there's been a consequence to people wanting to support the NBA. And I just think that's evident. I think you take that, you take the way he's flopped. I mean, he flops as significant as anybody around. And I know that he also rubbed people wrong when he took his talents to Miami and just the way he did a few different things. But when you talk politics and you're not just pro somebody, you're like very anti somebody. All those people don't want to watch. When you watch sports, I don't care which side you're on. If somebody was just say, hey, I like Harris or I like Trump, I don't care.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, you're a pro whoever. But when they bash the other person, you are losing people.
Yeah.
And why would you do that? When after a hard day's work, if I go to an NBA game or a football game I want to forget all of those things that are discouraging and hard. I just want to watch people play sports. And anyway, I think he probably did certain things, trying to do things for the right reasons, but I think he has hurt the brand overall. I think he helped the brand because he was tremendous the last 4 or 5 years.
To be 100% honest with you, though, I think the brand of NBA has hurt itself in so many other ways. It's been funny.
There's been a lot of ways. The threes hurt the brand.
Yeah.
Not playing, playing 55 out of 82 games is massively hurt. Flopping, not trying, the salaries.
There's a lot of things that went wrong that
I agree.
didn't address it. They didn't address it in time whatsoever.
Yep. Adam Silver has absolutely been catastrophic to the NBA.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's move on. We've got, besides the NBA, there is something big coming on this week.
It's just a little big.
And
it's actually the most viewed game.
Before it happened?
Well, it's the most viewed game every year. It's
okay.
TV wise.
I thought you were predicting the most viewed game.
Well, it will be. It gets bigger every year.
That's true.
So it will be the most viewed Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh. So you've got the Eagles, you've got the Chiefs.
Yep.
You've got, what is it? This is a huge game.
This is what's kind of funny. This is the Chiefs. If the Chiefs win this, they'll have a three-peat.
Yeah, who's this bigger for?
And they'll have won 4 Super Bowls against 2 different teams.
Yeah.
And they've revenged them twice.
Yeah,
or they've avenged them
so
twice.
That's the question. Who is this bigger for? The Eagles and the players in the franchise for the Eagles? Or the Chiefs and the players for the whoever wins this game? Who would this actually impact more?
This is the thing, is if Mahomes loses this.
Yeah.
We've seen Mahomes lose before.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a first.
Right.
Okay, so we can take that out of the way.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady lost more than one.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Mahomes lost one. Tom Brady's lost more than one. Obviously, I think a lot of people would be disappointed to not have the three-peat.
Yeah.
Because of how historic that event would be.
Mm-hmm.
But let me say this. I don't think people are going to think less of Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, the Chiefs, and Travis Kelce if they did lose.
That's true.
I think a lot of people will actually just applaud them for making it back.
Yep.
Because that's never been done before.
Yep.
So as far as their history goes, I think this would be a step for one of the greatest things of all time. But I don't actually think it hurts their careers in general because they're going to have other chances at the Super Bowl. Like Patrick Mahomes is nowhere near the end of his career. He's going to play in another Super Bowl. I think he's proven himself enough to us at this point that we would believe that he's going to play at least in one more Super Bowl. At least.
Yeah.
And that's saying he could play in 3 more.
Yeah.
So I think at this point in time, yes, it's huge to go for a three-peat. But as far as the players' careers, I don't think it really matters as much. That being said, I just think that this is actually going to be a bigger monumental moment for just the careers of the Eagles players specifically. You got to think of like Jalen Hurts. He wins his first Super Bowl. Now he's one of 3 quarterbacks to lose their first Super Bowl and make it back. He now has the opportunity to win his Super Bowl, which I think only John Elway has done in the current Madden era. So that would be pretty historic for him to go back and win. And I think for his career, it would probably silence a lot of the doubters for Jalen. It's hard because he outplayed Patrick Mahomes in the first Super Bowl, right? But no one gives him credit for that.
No.
In fact, they actually use it against him now when they talk about him, which is crazy to me that you would outplay one of the best quarterbacks in our era currently. And they go, oh, well, he only ever played good once, and that was against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. What do you want the guy to do? But this is the thing. It would be good for Jalen Hurts to be able to win it for his career. It's gonna set a tone. There's gonna be an expectation that comes with that. And then I think like for Nick Sirianni, that would be huge for his coaching career. He's already done a pretty good job, and I think just to be able to put a Super Bowl under his belt. The Eagles would then have played in 3 Super Bowls in the last less than 10 years. And they will have won twice. So that's another thing. So, I mean, it's just, I think for the players, or like Brandon Graham, this could be his last game. He could be going in retirement after this. He's actually going to play. He's coming off torn.
Cool. That's awesome.
Torn pec to play. And then like Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson might call it quits after this. Now,
Is he talking about it?
I think he has tons of playing career left.
Yeah.
But every player wants to end on top.
Yeah.
And Lane's played enough to where he could say, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. I think this is probably bigger for the careers of the Eagles players than it is the Chiefs players.
Sure.
But is it bigger for the teams, I don't know. I think for Kansas City, I mean, to win 3 in a row is massive.
I mean, so what this does is I'm looking at this and I'm thinking you got Mahomes would be tied with Joe Montana if he wins.
Yeah.
So now you're in a second of all time, category. So if he doesn't and they don't make it back again, he's going to be below that tier. So that's big. Andy Reid is,
and if he does it 3 times in a row,
yep,
they're probably going to automatically put him against over Montana, which means he's then now coming towards Tom Brady.
Yeah, so
I would say the average person.
Yeah, so you're in prestigious. If you don't win it,
yeah,
it's a big difference. But you've got, like you said it well. Saquon Barkley, think about him and his status if he wins it. Think about Jalen Hurts. All of a sudden, well, I don't know if he can. How good is he? This about it all goes away if you win. If he's 20 for 35, which isn't that great, for 230 yards, but he has 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he's the MVP. All the conversation. This is one thing that drives me crazy about sports people is they overreact and they underreact. And I'm going to say, I shared this a little bit last week when I did a little short. Nick Sirianni, people need to shut up about him. He has been great. And no matter what he does in this game, unless he forgets how to actually coach at all in this game and doesn't know offense, defense, and just forgot anything, he has been phenomenal. Period. Full stop.
Yeah.
His record since he's joining is one of the best all-time percentages. Even with losing and tanking last year, he is at the top of anybody. He's, I think, 5-3 in the playoffs. He's
almost
done well.
He's a 70% win percentage,
which is like all-time great.
Yeah.
If he averaged that, he would be the winningest coach. He'd be above Don Shula if he finished this way.
Yeah.
This is all-time. And no matter what, because of a 1 or 2 plays in a Super Bowl, a call here or a call there, he doesn't win, and they hate on him because he's passionate. And this is what they'll do. His passion helped lead the Eagles, and I always knew it. Or his passion is why the Eagles can't overtake.
Oh, my gosh.
It's garbage. The players love him.
If I have to hear Colin Cowherd say one more time about his first interview. Okay, Jiminy Chris, get the guy a break. It was his first interview as a head coach.
And I'm going to tell you, in the Super Bowl, when he was there and he was crying.
Oh, that was so powerful.
That was a wonderful moment.
That was so powerful.
It was great. And
honestly, it made me want to cry.
Yeah, I mean, because I love emotion and seeing somebody passionately win. And to get a team to come all the way back and then have them have a struggle at the end of the year and get them back again. People need to zip it. I don't care if a bobble pass or a bounce off the field goal post goes right or wrong. He's a great coach. People need to zip it. We need to say, great job, Nick Sirianni. Only one team wins. It doesn't mean everybody else are failures. Yeah. And so I just want people to zip their lip about him.
Yeah. Let me just give you some quick Nick Sirianni stats. I don't even have these pulled up on the computer just so everyone at home knows. Yeah. I just know these over on the top of my head. Okay. The guy's made the playoffs 4 of 4 seasons.
4 for 4.
Okay. He's been an NFC champion 2 of 4 seasons. Most people don't even do that in their first 4 seasons.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay. He's had a 10-plus winning record in the first 3 of 4 seasons.
Yeah, wow. How many games of 8 or more has he won? He has like the longest, biggest streak of anybody.
Yeah, he's had 3 10-win streaks.
I mean, that's insane
in his first 4 seasons.
Yeah, look at teams. There are teams in the league that don't win 10 games in a 4-year stretch. Like, one time. So this is insane. What he's done is well.
This is what's crazy to me, right? This is people's biggest pet peeve about Nick Sirianni. It's not even the emotion he shows. People's biggest pet peeve is that he's not necessarily a crazy-minded head offensive mind coordinator, and he's not a crazy-minded defensive head mind, right?
Yeah.
He's
a leader of men.
A leader of men.
Yeah.
And it drives analysts nuts.
Yeah.
And they're freaking out because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up in their lives. Let me tell you, there's some great coaches out there that are just leader of men. Look at Pete Carroll. The guy made a career in the NFL and college just being a leader of men.
Yep.
I mean, there's tons of
values for that. That's a big value.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this. If Andy Reid does win.
Yes.
Where does he stand all time, would you say, as coaches?
Personally?
In NFL history. Yeah.
Oh, man. It would be hard for me not to argue he's the greatest coach of all time.
Yeah.
I just, for me personally.
Yeah.
I mean, what he did with the Eagles, he never officially won.
No.
But I think they made 4 or 5 NFC championships in a row.
Yeah.
Which is hard to do.
Absolutely.
And he's been a quarterback whisperer his whole career.
Yeah.
You know, and I just, man, the guy has really proven himself at 2 very historic, great organizations. And I just think it's going to be really hard to argue that he's not. I mean, you could sit there and say it's Bill Belichick. That I would say, man, I guess Bill's got more Super Bowls. But Andy's got 1 from Green Bay. So what would that be? If he wins this one, he would have 5, and Bill's got 6. Is that right?
No, I know Andy Reid's been to 5 NFC championship games. Just NFC.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you take AFC. Let me see here how many AFC. He's 6 consecutive AFCs. So he's been 11 times. And so the difference between him, when I look at him and Belichick, it's not always about winning. You do want to win, and that does help, but fortune sometimes helps.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's been 11 times. He's made the playoffs, 18 appearances. To me, he's been incredible, but he's done it with multiple quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Even Alex Smith, who was a decent quarterback, they made it far in the playoffs with Alex Smith, and then it was a young Patrick Mahomes, and he's had with the Eagles, would you say it was like 4 or 5 times
4 or
in a
5
row?
times in a row.
Yeah, I mean, that's Donovan McNabb, and company. So I would put Andy Reid number 1 if he wins. I'd put him above, because Belichick did it all with Brady.
I think why I would put him number 1. Okay, ready for this?
Yeah.
Because I think this would make sense for most people at home. Okay.
Yeah.
Why I would put him number 1. The one thing that Bill didn't do in his time as the Patriots head coach is he didn't transition and stay relevant as a coordinator mind. Okay. Mm-hmm. The one thing Andy Reid has done is he stayed relevant as one of the best offensive geniuses in the NFL.
Sure.
For what, 30 years now?
Yeah.
It's got to be close to 30, right?
Yeah.
Because he was coaching in the 2000s for the Green Bay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's got to be close to 30 years that the guy stayed relevant as an offensive mind.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yep.
Insane. Because what's the one position that gets burnt out the quickest? It's offensive coordinators.
Yeah.
The offensive coordinators seem to get burnt out all the time. It's like 1 month you're thinking, who was the guy for the Texans last year? Was it Clint Kubiak? Is that
Kubiak?
Yeah. Okay. Everyone thought, oh my gosh, the way CJ Stroud's playing, this guy's a genius.
Yeah.
No one would even hire that guy as an offensive coordinator anymore.
Yeah. And he's won 15 division titles.
Yes.
15.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Anyways,
that is awesome. Okay.
I think he's a great guy too.
All right. So let's talk about the big who's going to win the game.
Listen, can I tell you a quick story, Randy?
This
will be quick.
This will be quick. This is
okay.
important.
I was driving home from Idaho today.
Oh,
okay.
Beautiful.
And I'm driving that beautiful drive on I-84.
Yes.
I got the Columbia River Gorge just on my right-hand side. Okay. We got beautiful mountains, waterfalls on the left. I got the beautiful Columbia River on the right. Okay. Glistening. Sun's just glistening right off it. Okay. I just came out of the mountains with snow, and I just got beautiful sunlight coming down. And as I'm driving, up on a tree, I see this majestic bird. White head, brown feathers, just perched there.
Yeah.
Like a real hero of the American people, okay? And, I just thought to myself, 2 simple words. Go Birds. Go Birds,
So it's a sign from above.
On a Sunday before the Super Bowl.
Oh, my.
We saw a bald eagle, and I said, go Birds.
Yeah.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Yes.
Listen, I think there's no chance that Saquon Barkley doesn't run for 100 yards on these guys at least, okay?
Yep.
I think there's no chance that Jalen Hurts doesn't push himself into the end zone at least twice, okay?
Okay.
I think there's no chance that we don't go over 250 passing yards, okay? I think there's no chance that the Eagles don't have at least 2 turnovers, possibly 3, depending on if the exciting whites want to come out and play, okay? I think there's no chance that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win this football game.
Really? Okay. All right, so we've got, you got a score?
Yeah. Give me 38
Ooh.
to 21.
Whoa. Whoa. Wow. Okay. You're gonna have to outperform a lot of referees.
Listen, I'm putting that money down 38-21.
Wow.
I'm walking my happy hind end down to the A-Lane. I'm putting $100 on 38-21. Go Birds.
Wow. Okay. Well, I am gonna say this. I think it's gonna come down to turnovers. If the Eagles have no turnovers, they're gonna win this game. I predict even if they had one, as long as it's not the right time, I think they can do it. One or less. I think this is the Eagles' year.
You know what's our turnover record right now in the playoffs?
What is
Just
it?
the playoffs.
What is it?
We're 0-11.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just think that this is going to be the Eagles' year. I think they're going to overcome Patrick Mahomes. I don't think I have not seen as of now. I have not seen tremendous play from Patrick Mahomes. He hasn't. I think it's going to catch up to him. I think the Eagles are going to win this game. I think it's going to be 28-24. I've got the Eagles winning. I'm thinking they're going to be up by a little bit more. I could see the Chiefs scoring towards the end. But I think Saquon Barkley is going to be the difference, and I think he's going to be the MVP. And I think the Giants and the Chiefs are all going to be depressed at the end of this day.
I think the Giants are already depressed.
So, Drew, who do you have winning this? You got the Chiefs, or do you have the Eagles?
I don't like being pessimistic.
That's okay.
But
make your picks.
Yeah, just say it, Drew. Just say it.
I just feel that when the NFL wants it to happen, they'll make magic happen.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you were getting a position with refs.
I think that they're looking, honestly, I think they're looking at the criticism and going, okay, we'll take care of it next year. And that's what's going to happen. They're going to tighten up on all those criticisms of Mahomes taking advantage of faking walking out of bounds and all those kinds of things. Just the way that refs handle when a quarterback gets hit. And I think they're going to take all that until next year.
Give us a score.
I think it's going to be... listen, Saquon Barkley, I believe, is the thing that means the Eagles should win. But theoretically, the Chiefs should never have been here.
No.
but
they are. They
made it.
Of the NFL.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'm going to go 21-24 by a field goal in the last 4 seconds.
21-24?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we've got one Chiefs.
4 seconds ago, field goal.
Okay.
And it's going to make me very, very angry if that happens.
That's the worst.
But I want the Eagles to win.
Okay.
I like your guys' picks way better. I just am pessimistic because of last year. Last year made me sad.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not sad this year, but
right.
if not, I'll just go watch the Bucks game from a couple years ago and.
All right.
My wife might be nice to me for at least a week if we lose.
Well, we've got one more thing in the NFL. There's been a lot of things, and maybe we'll talk about this more next week.
We should definitely go over new coaches.
But there has been Robert Saleh is back in the 49ers fold.
That's huge.
That is
for you guys.
massive,
huge
difference. You got Pete Carroll in
with the Raiders.
It was Oakland. Now it's Las Vegas. That is huge, and he teamed up with Chip Kelly.
How did he get that? How did he pull that off? I'm sure Chip Kelly wasn't cheap either.
I'll tell you, that is actually a very interesting.
I think
duo
it's a great pairing
because you've got a great leader of men in Pete Carroll who specializes in the defense, and then you've got a great offensive mind in Chip Kelly.
Yep.
And I think that pairing could be really good in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I actually really like Chip. It's kind of sad to see where his career's gone since he was with the Eagles. It was such a bust for what our expectations were. But what I would really, really love to see is I'd really love to see Pete Carroll also get a defensive coordinator that you just thought was that's awesome.
Yeah.
And see what they could do, because I think Pete Carroll has a little chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Because I think he kind of got booed out of Seattle.
I'm glad Saleh didn't go there.
Yep. and I would really love to see what they end up doing. But I think that Raiders team, I think they have some decent pieces going on over there, and if they could figure out some stuff from within, it could be a decent little roster. I think they could figure some stuff out.
Yep, and then you also have Ben Johnson over there in the Bears. There's been a lot of action this year. We'll maybe talk about that more next time. I wanted to move on to one last thing. I hate it when people in the media can hide behind articles and say things like anonymous source is saying that, and then they just make up whatever they want and there's no accountability behind it. That is one of my least favorite things, which leads to all the fake news that happens all the time in sports. Just over a week ago, Ichiro, congratulations to you. You made the Hall of Fame. You are without a doubt one of the best athlete baseball players that I ever saw in my lifetime. I got to see him in Seattle. I saw him up and close. I was in the fourth row a few times to a game, and I watched him, and he was amazing. One person said he wasn't worthy of the Hall of Fame, and it's anonymous. Yeah. And I want to know who that person is. That person should stand up, have a conviction. Somebody did this, I think it was to Steph Curry years ago or something like this. And they actually, sometimes people stand up and admit it, but this person is a coward and not saying who they are. If you're going to do something like this and say he's not, it's okay. Stand up for it. If you're too afraid, take your vote away.
Yeah.
You don't deserve to have a vote. First of all, I think you already lost your opinion because it's ridiculous that he didn't vote for him. But I'm just sick and tired of people, anonymous sources, and on the other side, people that can cast votes. How do you get a vote if you can't stand behind it? Have a conviction. That's garbage. And I loved what Ichiro said. He'd like to have a meal with him and have a chat with him. And I think that would be great to be a part of that. And so
what I don't understand is it doesn't make any sense that they're not willing to say who it is.
No, it's because they're afraid of the. You got to stand up for what you believe in, or you shouldn't have a vote.
Yeah,
that vote is too important. If you can't stand up for it, Baseball Hall of Fame, anybody doing that kind of stuff, you need to be able to say, I stand behind this vote, or I don't deserve to have a vote.
Yeah.
I think that whoever you are, you're a coward.
To have the right to vote is a privilege. You have a right to know who that person is and what was your rationale behind being the lone dissenter when everybody associated with Major League Baseball from a voting perspective voted differently than you. You must justify that.
Well, I think that's all we got for. We got an exciting week. Let's see what we got going on. The Super Bowl is happening. Everybody stay tuned. Thank you for joining us. Again, if you like what you hear or you see, hit the subscribe button. Please add comments, add whatever you can do. We appreciate it. We will see you next time, and we will have either a three-peat or we will have a new champion in the NFC. We'll see you next week.
I'm going to buy a chain, Randy.
Go Birds!